The scream of my son still echoes in my mind. 3 men in crisp polos marked HOA enforcement tried to drag him toward their van. I didn't shout, I breathed once, stepped forward, and everything slowed. They thought I was just a dad in jeans. They didn't know I was a Navy SEAL. Until that morning, life in Maple Hollow Estates was quiet. The kind of suburban calm you see in glossy real estate ads, manicured lawns, painted fences, and neighbors waving at each other while secretly competing over who owned the best grill. I had retired from active duty 3 years earlier. After 12 deployments, I wanted peace. My wife, Emily, and I bought this house because it had a yard big enough for our 6-year-old, Jake, to chase butterflies and make mud pies. Most days, I'd fix things in the garage while Emily gardened. The HOA barely crossed my mind except for the occasional flyer or ridiculous paint color compliance note. But a few months back, strange letters began showing up. Hand-delivered, no return address, claiming we owed additional compliance fees. At first, I thought it was an administrative mistake. Then one day, I saw a white SUV parked outside our house for hours. No logo, tinted windows. Every instinct I'd trained for years whispered something's wrong. Still, I convinced myself I was just being paranoid. After all, this was supposed to be the safe part of town. What could go wrong in a cul-de-sac with lemonade stands and Sunday barbecues? I didn't know then that peace was about to shatter and that the people threatening it weren't real enforcers of anything. They were predators wearing neighborly smiles. It started small. One Tuesday morning, a man wearing an HOA compliance badge knocked on my door. He looked mid-40s, average build, but something about his stance screamed law enforcement imitation. His eyes scanned everything, my porch camera, the license plate on my truck, even my boots. "Morning, sir," he said. "We've received reports of violations on your property." "Violations?" I asked. He pointed toward Jake's small swing set. "Unauthorized play structure. Also, noise complaints about a child yelling." I laughed. "That child's 6. That's what they do." He didn't laugh. He just wrote something on a clipboard and walked away. Over the next week, more warnings arrived, each more threatening than the last. Then came the kicker, a notice of possible eviction. The HOA president, a retired dentist named Howard, looked confused when I confronted him. "Eviction? We don't even send printed notices anymore," he said. That's when the red flag hit full mast. I installed extra cameras around the house and began logging vehicle plates. The same white SUV appeared again. Sometimes it parked down the street at night. Sometimes I caught its reflection in my window at dawn. I'd seen this pattern before, watchers testing boundaries. One evening, I came home from the grocery store to find my mailbox open and my trash can flipped. Not random kids, too precise. Someone was marking their presence. Emily started worrying. "Maybe you should talk to someone at the HOA office," she said. "I will," I told her, but I already knew what I'd find: nothing official, no records, no enforcers assigned to our address. That night, as the rain pattered against the roof, I checked the footage again. At 2:37 a.m., the SUV rolled by slow and silent. 3 silhouettes inside. One of them stepped out and took a picture of our house. I didn't sleep after that. Saturday morning came bright and still. Emily had taken Jake outside to water the tomato plants. I was in the garage tightening a hinge when I heard it, the low rumble of that same white SUV. 3 men stepped out, wearing identical polos, fake badges glinting in the sunlight. The tallest one barked, "Ma'am, step away from the child." Emily froze. "Excuse me?" Violation of safety code. The HOA requires immediate child safety inspection. I stepped out of the garage slowly, wiping grease from my hands. "You picked the wrong house," I said. The leader smirked. "Sir, we're conducting an inspection. Interference could result in HOA fines or legal." "Cut the act." He hesitated. That half-second was all I needed. I shifted my stance, weight on the back foot, hands loose. One of them reached toward Jake, and that's when everything blurred into instinct. The first man lunged. I pivoted, grabbed his wrist, twisted, and drove his shoulder into the gravel. A pop, his elbow snapped like a dry branch. The second came swinging a baton. I ducked, drove an elbow into his ribs, heard him gasp, and swept his legs out. He hit the ground hard. The third froze, hand halfway to his pocket, maybe a weapon, maybe a bluff. I didn't wait to find out. I closed the distance, slammed his wrist against the car door, and felt the metal crunch under the pressure. "Stay down," I said, calm as stone. The first man groaned, clutching his arm. "You broke my..." I crouched close. "You came after my kid. You're lucky you're breathing." Emily was already calling 911. Jake was crying, but I kept my tone even, gentle when I turned to him. "It's okay, buddy. Everything's fine now." Within minutes, sirens wailed down the street. The men tried to crawl back toward their SUV, but I'd already pocketed their fake IDs and tossed the keys onto the roof. When the officers arrived, they found 3 imposters in agony and 1 quiet family standing on the driveway. I raised my hands slowly. They claimed to be HOA enforcement. "You might want to check that." The cops exchanged glances. "We'll handle it, sir." But even as they were cuffed, one of the fake enforcers glared at me through pain-narrowed eyes. "You don't know who you're dealing with," he hissed. I met his stare. "You're right. I don't care." The investigation unraveled quickly. Turns out the enforcers were ex-contractors running an extortion scheme, posing as HOA agents to intimidate homeowners into paying fake fines. The police found forged letters, fake uniforms, and surveillance photos of multiple families. They'd targeted us because I looked like a rule follower. They were half right. When the real HOA heard about it, their board issued a public apology, calling it a misunderstanding, but the neighborhood knew better. The footage from my door camera made its way around social media. Comments flooded in, some cheering, some shocked. Emily couldn't stop shaking for days, but Jake kept repeating one line: "Dad made the bad guys go away." That night, after putting him to bed, I sat alone on the porch. The moon was high, quiet except for distant sirens. My body ached, but my mind was still in combat mode, counting steps, exits, angles. Then Emily came out with 2 cups of coffee. She sat beside me and said, softly, "You didn't even think, did you?" "No," I said. "That's the point of training. You act before fear catches up." She nodded. "I just can't believe they came here." "Neither can I said. "But they won't again." In the following weeks, I reinforced the property: extra lights, secure gates, no trespassing signs. The HOA actually asked for copies of my footage for their own safety briefings. Funny how fear changes authority. Sometimes, the line between peace and chaos is thinner than people realize. Most folks in neighborhoods like this think danger lives somewhere else, behind fences, across city lines, in the news. But it can pull into your driveway at 10 a.m. wearing a fake badge. People asked why I reacted the way I did. Why I didn't just call the police first. The truth? There wasn't time. When someone reaches for your child, instincts matter more than hesitation. It's not about violence. It's about control, the calm that comes from knowing you can protect what matters. That day changed something in me. I used to think retirement meant leaving the soldier behind. But the truth is, a part of that man will always be there, watching, ready. Now, every morning, when Jake runs across the yard, I smile, but I also scan the street, the angles, the shadows. Not out of fear, but vigilance. Because peace isn't free. Sometimes, it's guarded quietly by those who've already fought their wars. They thought wearing a fake badge gave them power. What they learned is that real strength doesn't need a uniform. If you think this story is wild, trust me, it's one of many from the neighborhoods that hide secrets behind perfect lawns. Stick around. I've got more stories that'll make you rethink what home security really means.